kept talking about that sort of the moving outside and trying to find two issues with that. Yeah, so moving outside the art world to make your money, but also the distinction between art and entertainment, which is then really troublesome if you think about him as a choreographer and the way he would be making his money outside of this.
But I thought that when he was talking about entertainment, he was saying that art can inform entertainment and use it, but that entertainment is a much more commercially driven thing than to do with advertising, and that art can exist outside of.
And also I think that the importance of art now is even more considering the cultural diet, the sort of funneling, as he said, four main bodies or whatever, the subjects that are being fed out, just like the relationship with food, but it's all corn-based and it's not that diverse, it's not very, doesn't pick up on things that really make society strong.
It's a sort of illusion of choice.
Yeah, and comfort and distraction
and also numbing of if you eat the same, well, it's kind of some of this entertainment can be numbing, mind numbing as art kind of challenge you with a more kind of active approach.
Yeah, that was the distinction that he made between entertainment and art, is that entertainment distracts and art is supposed to focus you.
Which comes back to the point you were making about that research idea.
Yes.
That entertainment isn't research. Research is something that feeds into culture and society. How do you know at the beginning of something whether to say yes or no to it? What are your personal kind of guidelines for saying yes, I will get into this, or no, I'm not, because you're not paying for me in any shape or form?
Outcomes rather
outcomes
than
looking to the future.
not just monetary outcomes.
Frame payment.
I'm in a situation now, I'm being asked to work for a project, a smart project in London, who has workshops at the Courtauld and the Art Wallace collection, and it's for people with mental health issues and to kind of work for free. But my question will be, how will this benefit me and how much time will it take up? And it's always, but I think I would be willing to do it for free if that can benefit me in some way.
But they've got budgets there.
Well, no, he's not able to.
True, capacity is another thing as well. If you are working with the Courtauld, then perhaps you should expect some cash, whereas if you're working with a small one.
Are they paying your travel or something? Because otherwise you're paying them.
No, it's not the quarter. They
okay.
they
It's
have space there. It's a voluntary organisation set up by somebody else that they have managed to kind of.
I think it's about trust. I think as well, doing your research on I think it's. If I thought I would really get a lot from it and everything, I don't even care if they were using me, because actually I would be getting so much back. It would actually be better. It's not money isn't the issue sometimes. I mean, if you need the money in the meantime, it's different. But I think you have to weigh things up, all the different criteria, and say, is this going to benefit me in the long run even? And if you've got nothing else to do, it's such a nice thing in life.
How much time do you invest in it?
I think every single situation is different. I think you have to just weigh it all up.
Maybe we need a strong unionist movement. Artist unions.
They've tried, they've failed.
Generally, in internship, generally in the commercial business world, it's starting to really get frowned upon now.
In the UK, you can reclaim. If you've done an unpaid internship, there's an organisation, because it's illegal, there's an organisation that will represent you for free legally in reclaiming your lost wages. The £6 an hour should have been given you for the entire unpaid internship.
No, that's not illegal, unpaid.
If they're a pound degree, it's a different thing, because it's part of your course of working towards it.
I did at work travel every 6 months, and they pay your travel.
You can still attempt to claim that back, because they're not supposed to under the workplace relation laws, apparently.
But you know it's unpaid when you sign up, don't you?
Yeah.
Is it actually law now?
Although you totally destroy your relationships
Yeah.
with that organisation.
And everybody else.
That's the problem.
Well, that's it. How realistic is it to
Yeah.
kind of say, I'm going to charge this much, for example, to work at Whitechapel Point?
You just take it.
I mean, I would, but I don't know if
Smart.
that's what.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
That's the thing, like, but according to this, you're not supposed to underestimate, like, the work that you're putting in.
Yeah, but at the same time, I guess it depends at what point in your like career you're talking about. Because actually, if you've got quite little experience,
But it's still
and it
time.
boosts you.
But it's still time that you're putting in. Like in that sense, if you're working at Nero or at any other place, you'll still be charging. Yeah. So it's not like you're charging.
You could be an apprentice.
But you're not getting anything from working at Nero.
Maybe you are. You don't know, like.
Well, but then if you are, maybe if you were getting as much, or if you felt like you were getting as much as working at a well-established gallery, then maybe you would work for free for a limited bit of time.
I mean, do you do what you do for the love of it, or do you ultimately expect to get paid?
Well, I personally really like the fact that he did put it in black and white, that there was an area that we as artists inhabit, and I've always felt it was really important, but I think he put it very succinctly, that it is extremely important, and I think that's a value that comes through. It can make your life feel very rich and fulfilling. But I don't know about whether or not what we would call it love of it, or a calling, or a sense of purpose.
But is being an artist, you know, there's this thing about vocational courses. If you're training to be a doctor or you're training to be an engineer, that's a vocational course. Is an MFA for you, or an MA a vocational course?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on, there's some yeses and some no's. Can we have both sides of the story?
Well, I do think so.
I do.
No, because in this course, I mean, one of the things of the professional toolkit is how to be a sustainable artist. So whether it's, for example, I think Molly from Angel's Den that does, or Holly, I don't know.
Holly.
She writes to sustain and being able to do her practice. So it's like finding those kind of balances. Doing art for the love of art just kind of foments that mediocreness of, you know, or it being something that you do occasionally or on your free time.
That's why I like the way it was your research. Like everything you're doing is research. You might not become famous, but it's all going. And I like that comparison with scientists and all the researchers that help the whole sort of culture to progress and evolve. And so I never thought of this as a vocational course, but a way of focusing my research. But I don't know, maybe that's vocational.